Welcome to the Jordan Rich Show here on WBZ, taking you across the globe, literally and figuratively. Our signal bounces to 38 states in Canada, and now on the WBZ website, WBZ1030.com. You can hear us anywhere on the planet. And speaking of the planet, let's go elsewhere and investigate other parts of the world with the help of our next guest, James Nelon, who is a local resident, but he decided to pack up and explore the world. His book, Pursuing a Dream, A Wandering Executive's Journey into Indonesia. Jim, welcome back stateside, and tell our WBZ audience, if you will, what prompted you to get up and go?
I lived in Oklahoma as I was growing up, and I would go out into the summertime in the evening and look up at the stars and just gaze there and wonder what in the world was out there. And you obviously can't go to the stars, but I had a chance to go halfway around the world. The premise of the book was to go as far away from civilization as I knew it as possible and live with the natives there. Go into Borneo, the center of Borneo, and live with a head hunting tribe there and just see how they live and what they did and what they ate and how they grew their crops and built their houses and what their religions were like and all that. And it was just something that I just wanted to do from an early age.
And, of course, you take along a camera, so the photographs are quite illuminating. And how much of this land, this area, did you know about prior to making the trip?
Nothing. And I would just explore it as I could. As I went, I would go, oh, well, where do the Batak tribes live? And somebody would say, what? And I go, where are the Bataks? And they go, we don't know. And so I would go as close to where we thought they were as possible, and I would start exploring and keep asking and go drilling down deeper and deeper into wherever they were. And I'd find myself 14 days into Borneo to find a particular tribe that I was looking for.
In terms of planning, when you do a trip like this, that takes a year or so or more, how much planning is involved, and how much sort of personal involvement in terms of family, beyond just the workplace, in terms of family and connections here back at home? Do you have to twist a few arms to make this thing happen?
No, I didn't. My wife and I have 2 dogs, and so that was fairly easy to take care of that, because I would just tell my wife, I'll be back when I'm back. I don't know when, but I'll be back at some point. So keep the light on for me, but I don't know when. And there was zero planning, frankly. There was money involved. I would have a fistful of money, but frankly, you don't need much money. You need less than $1 a day to live in any of these places I was living. In fact, you can't live on $1 a day because they don't accept dollars. They don't even accept the local currency. It's all a barter arrangement. So it was all just opportunistic as I went along.
Talking with James Nelon, who took the trip of a lifetime in the book Pursuing a Dream, Indonesia. Now, you were there, I guess, before the tsunami and all that.
That's correct.
Right.
And I was in non-tsunami areas, actually.
Okay. Tell me about the first place you landed, and if it was anything like you imagined.
It was nothing like what I had imagined because I didn't know what to imagine. It was in Ujung Pandang, which is in the island of Sulawesi, in South Sulawesi. And when I got there, I started asking around, well, where should I go that nobody goes? And I found a guide to take me to some places, and I said, I never, ever want to see a bus or another white person anywhere where we go. And he took me into some places that were just spectacular.
In terms of communication with people in foreign lands, most of us assume that everybody speaks English. But what happens when you're out there and you can't communicate? Is there always somebody actually around who can translate for you?
I almost overran the communication translation ability in Borneo. I was 3 days in a town called Sintan. I was asking everybody in the town as well as I could through body language, I need somebody to help me. And I could not find anybody. I was getting ready to go back out from being about 11 days into Borneo. And a guy came up who was a teenager, and he said, you speak English? And I go, oh, thank God, Joshua. And he was able to do the translation more or less for me. And when we would get near a village, a remote village that was up the Kapuas River and up the Centarum Lake and all that, when we got near Lanjak, we would have to do double translations, because they did not speak the Indonesian language, Bahasa Indonesia. They would speak their local village language, so we'd have to do double translations.
As we saw during the horrible tsunami and the aftermath and the coverage of it, in some cases, a lot of these folks have never, ever ventured out into what we would call the civilized world. They don't have any contact with it, and I'm wondering about some of the folks you came in contact with, if they thought you were as strange-looking as you perhaps thought their places were strange.
I suspect that they did. The idea was to go where no backpackers even had gone before, and I'm sure the wayward backpackers probably wandered by the village, but their intent would probably not be to stay there shoot them photographically, listen to them, learn about them a bit, and write about the traveling to there and back. They would be more interested probably in just wandering around and doing something else. So the intent that I had was a little bit different from a backpacker, but we try to find places that these are not destinations. These are not places where even backpackers would necessarily want to go, because you're sleeping on a hard floor, a concrete floor, or maybe a rattan mat. Your water supply is the next person's toilet. There's no electricity. Maybe there's an oil lamp. When it gets dark, people go to sleep. When it gets light, they wake up. They grow rice, and it's very subsistence-level living in these places that I was going to and writing about.
James Nelon is my guest, Pursuing a Dream, a wandering executive's journey into Indonesia. I keep chuckling on the subtitle because here you are giving up all the pleasures of Western life, and you do this part research, part discovery. Tell me a little bit about how you changed in terms of your spiritual outlook, in terms of your outlook involving people, other people.
I learned to let go, and I learned to respect. Beforehand, I was probably a typical wound tightly executive, multitasking, doing email while trying to write something else, while trying to eat a lunch, while trying to do something else, while trying to answer the phone, doing all these things simultaneously. When you get over there, it's slower paced. You can sit by a river. You don't have to do anything. You can just wind down. You can be yourself. And I learned how, when I came back, I started to wind back up again. I learned, no, don't go that way, because you can start to release and learn to back off and still be just as effective as you were, maybe more effective than you were before.
Right. Great lessons learned in the wilds. What would be, in your estimation, the greatest threat if you're taking a trip like this? Is it simply the possibility of disease? Is it insects? Is it wild animals? Or is it people?
I was lucky enough to never get sick on the trip, but I had already lived in Asia at that point for 6 years, and so I probably had hardened the immune system to some of the things that, if you're going fresh into the jungle, which all this was in the jungle, if you're going fresh to the jungle, you might not be as immune, if you will, as I had. I don't know the answer to that for sure, but I never got sick. Mm-hmm. The biggest dangers that I had were terrorism was beginning at that point. And I was down in Zamboanga in the southern part of Mindanao in the Philippines, and I asked my guide, I asked her, I want to go to the island next door here. And she said, no, you can't go there. And I said, why not? And she said, because it'd be very dangerous for you. People don't come out of there. And I found out later that this island was an island that was indeed Al-Qaeda-based, Abu Ghraib, Al-Qaeda-based group there. And then I said, I want to go to Holo Island, and she said, which is the next one down in the Sulu Sea, and she said, no, you can't go there either. And I said, I want to go to Tawi Tawi then, which is the next one down. She said, you can go there, because that's a Christian-based island. So I went there and I lived for a week in the mayor's house there, just took pictures there and wandered around Tawi Tawi instead.
The exotic scenery, the costumes, the color, the food, it's all there in the book, and also, of course, your impressions and the impressions of them to you, them meaning all these wonderful people you met. And generally speaking, what are their impressions of Americans, per se?
They don't know anything about America. They've never heard of it. They don't know anything about it. They have no concept of richness, of our culture, of how we do things over here. They have no idea how we live. And I really didn't dwell on that with them, because I did not want to leave anything behind that would make them want to do something different. I didn't want to taint their culture there with something that is, there's something out there that's better than what we are, because I'm not sure what we have is better than what they are doing. They have a very simple lifestyle. They don't have any cars, as I said, no electricity. They don't have the creature comforts that we have, but they're in the jungle, and it's summertime year-round. There's a monsoon season and there's a dry season, and the temperature's pretty much the same year-round. So they don't need coal or oil-fired heaters or air conditioners or anything. They have the wind, and they open up a side of the house. It's built 6 feet off the ground, and there's the breeze coming right through. There's their air conditioning. But very simple life. They have all the things they need in the jungle to build houses, to live, to grow the food, to do everything they need to live, and they are very, very happy with this. And I did not want to try to say, oh, there's a better lifestyle, because there may not be a better lifestyle.
And they probably have fewer heart attacks.
I would guess their cholesterol is not high, the blood pressure is not high. Yeah. I didn't have any equipment to measure that stuff, but you can watch the smile on these people's faces, and it's just amazing how comfortably they are living, how fulfilling their lifestyles are. They live as long as we do. I mean, sure, they have diseases and stuff that come along, but I saw people that were 90 and 100 years old. it's fine. They are able to live very satisfying, fulfilling lives.
And it sounds like your life is more satisfied, and certainly you've fulfilled a dream, which is terrific, in pursuing a dream, by James Nelon, Nelon. Thanks so much, and you're going to stay stateside for a while?
I'm trying to go back over to Asia. So we'll go back over and maybe do some more writing or maybe do some work over there. Don't know yet.
All right, well, keep us informed, and good luck on your travels.
And can I just point out that you can buy the book, if you will, at www.fullcirclebooks, one word, fullcirclebooks.com on the web.
Got it. And thank you so much, Jim, and good luck. Thank you. James Nelon, Pursuing a Dream, a wandering executive's journey into Indonesia. More coming up on The Jordan Rich Show on WBZ News Radio 1030.